Welcome to the Heart Foundation Walking Getting Started webinar. The purpose of this session is to support new walk organisers and local coordinators on how to set up and start your walking group. Before we move into the content, I'd like to acknowledge that the Heart Foundation is spread across many of our traditional lands. We pay respect to all traditional owners of these lands and those who under custodial law are charged with nurturing and protecting country. We pay respect to elders, past, present, and emerging. So for this session, what we'll do is we'll start off with the Heart Foundation walking structure. We'll talk about the website and resources available to you. We'll discuss how you may best promote your walking group to build walkers. Then from there, we'll give you some tips on starting your first actual walk. That'll be the end of the session for walk organisers. However, there will be then a section specific to local coordinators. The best place to start is with a brief overview of the structure of the program, as this will also provide some insight into where you can get some support for your group. And what we see here on this slide is the first step is Heart Foundation Walking. Heart Foundation Walking supplies training, resources, customer service, and also access to events. Really, if there is any inquiries about the program, they can be directed through to either the Heart Foundation Walking team or the Heart Foundation helpline to assist with. From there, we then move down to local coordinators. Now, local coordinators are an employee of a host organisation, and they are the link between the Heart Foundation and walking groups. Typically, local coordinators can assist with printing, recruitment, and the promotion of walking groups in a region. Local coordinators will often work with walking groups and specifically walk organisers, and walk organisers are the lifeblood of the program. They inspire people to keep walking, and their primary responsibilities are to lead the walking groups and record attendance. From there, we then have walkers. Now, walkers can join walking groups, or they might like to download the Heart Foundation Walking app, which helps them track their steps wherever they are. Walkers can also join events, and they can the group walkers can be part of the Walker Recognition Scheme. In most cases, a local coordinator may be able to assist with some queries from walkers or walk organisers. However, Heart Foundation Walking and Heart Foundation Helpline are here to assist as well. We hope that the website is the first place that our walk organisers and local coordinators visit to support or start their walking groups. Here you will find how to find walking groups in your region. You can direct people to your group through this function so they can register for your group online. You will also be able to log in to your online profile here, which is where you will find most of our resources to support walking groups. You will be able to register for Heart Foundation walking events and also learn about upcoming promotions. Events and promotions can be found by scrolling to the bottom of the website and clicking the What's On section. Events and promotions can be a fantastic way to keep your walkers interested and try a new route or location. You'll also be able to review the terms and conditions for Heart Foundation Walking on the website. If you have any questions regarding terms and conditions, insurance, or any other specific queries from walkers, the best place to look is the frequently asked questions, once again found at the bottom of the page. Once you have logged in, you will be able to find in your online profile many different functions. You will be able to access your own and your group's walking details, which you will be able to edit. You will also be able to start a new group from this page and record attendance for your group. Please note that walk organisers and local coordinators will have a slightly different view of this screen. Local coordinators, you also have the ability to produce reports which state how many walks a group in a region has conducted. It's also important to consider this is the best place to update your details if there are any changes. And it's important to keep your information up to date as it may be used to connect walkers to your group. If you are having difficulty or can't access a computer, you can contact the Heart Foundation helpline on 13 11 12 for assistance. One of the most important functions of your online profile is that you can record group walks. The quickest and easiest way of recording attendance is online. It's important that all group walks are recorded because this will ensure that the walker recognition scheme is accurate for everybody. And only walkers that are registered and have had their attendance records submitted can be included in prize draws and the walker recognition scheme. Recording walks is also a great way for us to know that your walking group is still active and is the most accurate way to keep the walker recognition scheme up to date. Another valuable section of your online profile is the tips and tools section. For local coordinator, the tips and tools section can be found on the red buttons. For walk organisers, you will be able to find the tips and tools section at the bottom left-hand side of your home page for the member section. In the tips and tools, you'll find resources such as marketing, advertising, and promotional posters. You'll also find walking images and event guides to promote your group. You'll also be able to find all our documents and forms here, including registration forms for walkers. You'll also be able to find translated resources for anybody that requires them in other languages. If you are thinking about starting a walking group, and it's a shopping centre walking group, in the tips and tools section, you'll also find a number of guides about specific considerations for different settings, including shopping centres. You may like to look at that to learn what else you might like to consider. The other section of the tips and tools is the ongoing education, and this is generally where you will find the previous webinars and their presentations. So that gives us a bit of a background to the website. Now, the website is there to support you to help grow and promote your group. So here are some of our tips for promoting your group and attracting new walkers. The easiest way to promote your group is through word of mouth. Tell your friends and family about your walking group and encourage any of your walkers to do the same. Social media can also be useful in letting your community know of your walking group, and we have some tips for social media coming up shortly. Also, be prepared for a new group to take a while to get started. If you can, plan an undercover route for rainy days, or if walking outside, take a jacket umbrella so that the majority of the weather doesn't stop you from walking. Our most successful groups are those that are consistent, as the group members know even if the weather is slightly poor, they can expect to meet other people at the time of their walk. Nobody wants to leave the house when it is cold, expecting to meet a group only to find nobody is there. We, of course, always encourage our groups to consider their safety while walking and to not walk in extreme weather conditions. The other way that you can help promote your group is ensure that you are wearing your Heart Foundation walking t-shirt. Your t-shirt makes you easily recognisable to new walkers to your group and also helps people recognise that you are the walk organiser. All walk organisers and local coordinators receive a complimentary Heart Foundation walking t-shirt as a thank you for getting started in the role. If you haven't received yours, please make contact with us here at Heart Foundation Walking. Another way to promote your group is that you might like to work with your host organisation and local coordinator or other members of the community to host a launch or special event for your walking group. We also have plenty of posters that you can download and update that you may like to distribute in different regions of your community. Social media can be a useful tool for helping you to share the message of your walking group. You can share photos from your walks. You can encourage walkers to share posts and events. You can recognise the achievements of walkers, and it's also a great way to stay connected with other walkers. We know that social media is not for everybody, and you can run a very successful Heart Foundation walking group without it. It's simply a tool that you may like to use if you feel comfortable doing so. Now, other places that you may find support for your group. Of course, Heart Foundation Walking is available and we can help connect you to other groups in the region. We can also help with event guides, and you can display your events on our events page. At times, we can also assist with media releases so that local media knows about what's coming up for your group. As we've discussed, local coordinators are another good resource, and they may be able to list group details on websites and also in newsletters. You can see the poster here was actually from a council, and they're promoting the walking groups in their region. And they may also be able to assist with printing and display of posters as well. There may, however, be other services in the region that are interested in your walking group and may help with promotion. Some of those organisations may include GP clinics and health services, community houses, libraries. Community notice boards can also be useful for promotion. There's also pharmacies, cafes, childcare, council offices. The list goes on and on for where you can promote and the people that may be interested. If you do wish to display a poster in any organisation's waiting room, office or window, please ensure to gain permission before you do so. We have mentioned that Heart Foundation Walking does operate an events page. You will notice that there are many walks organised by Heart Foundation Walking. However, any group is also welcome to list their event on this page also. Some of the events that you may find there include Heart Foundation Walking workshops, Heart Foundation Walking webinars, events such as park walks, which happen routinely, and also themed walks. A good example of a themed walk is what's displayed here is the Men's Health Week. So it's a morning stroll and a free breakfast afterwards. Another great example of a themed walk is a Heart Week walk. So this year we had approximately 30 walks which were held around the country. If you have an event that you would like to promote, please get in contact with us at Heart Foundation Walking and we can get it up on the website for you. So there's some of the tips and suggestions we have for promoting your group and getting your group off the ground. From there, what we want to do is go through some tips and suggestions for your first walk. The first thing that you'll want to consider is your walking route. Your walking group may follow an existing pathway around your neighbourhood, which may work perfectly well, and that is perfectly fine. If you do want to build your own walking path, there are a few items to consider. The first item is the starting point. Can people find it and get to the starting point easily? Areas near large landmarks or monuments with good access to public transport and car parking are great choices as they are often easy to find. When considering your walking route, there may be a few that you would like to do. However, Starting at the same point can be very beneficial as it makes it easier for new walkers to join your group. You will also want to consider the scenery on your route. Is there green space or parks that you can make the most of? Is there a site of cultural or historical significance that you walk past? Or is there a fantastic view that you can share with others? The other thing that you want to think about in relation to monuments, milestones, and the scenery is the overall length of getting there and back. When you consider the length, you want to aim to plan for the least fit person in your group. Once your group is more established, you can start to extend the time that you go for. Most of our groups walk between 30 and 60 minutes. Many do their standard walk regularly and will organise to do a longer walk occasionally as a special occasion. This allows people to build their fitness and decide if they would like to go for a longer walk. You also will want to consider the time of your walk. Think about the groups that you would like to promote your group to. If you are hoping to recruit young parents, you may need to do an early morning walk before school drop-offs and before work starts. Conversely, if you plan to have your walk in the middle of the day, it's unlikely that you're going to have many people that work join your group. Safety is always an important consideration, and some of the things that you might like to consider include: are you going to cross any major traffic intersections, and can they be avoided by choosing an alternative route? You may also like to consider the state of the paths that you intend to walk on, and also even the size of the paths themselves. If you have a large group, a wider footpath will be much easier for your walkers. While we hope that our walking groups will never require them, it can also be important to consider how easily emergency services could find you should you require them. The best walking paths also feature a number of facilities to improve walker comfort. These include water fountains or access to clean drinking water, toilets and benches that are found regularly for people to rest if required. Even access to rubbish bins on longer walks can be very convenient. Once you have your route all planned, aim to do a practice walk at the time that you are suggesting to make sure that it is suitable. Peak hour traffic may change a beautiful street into a busy thoroughfare. Once you've done your promotion and you have your walking route all set, you're now ready for your first walk. Remember, you are the representative of the Heart Foundation, so there are some simple steps that will help you feel organised and put new walkers at ease. First up, if practical, arrive early. Wear your t-shirt so that everybody knows who you are. If there's anybody around the area that looks like they're there for your group, welcome them. Introduce yourself to people that you don't know, just so that people can recognise your face and also feel a bit more included in the group. Remember to ask walkers if they have registered. If they haven't, encourage them to do so before their next walk, and you may provide them with a copy of the terms and conditions if you have them with you. Don't forget to record the walkers as they arrive as well, so that you've got a list that you can complete at the end of the walk for attendance and can use moving forward. Lastly, don't forget to have fun. When you're on your walk, there are some suggested items to take. You may find that you take more or less than what's suggested, and you may also find that you take more on your first few walks. As you get comfortable, that amount may drop down. Those items include a small bag or backpack just to carry a few items in, your mobile phone, water, hat, sunglasses, some registration forms if you wish to, name tag, and also a pen. The other thing that you may like to carry is just a copy of the terms and conditions for walkers, just so that they're well aware of what they're agreeing to when they start with Heart Foundation walking. You may also find that over time, some of your walkers will also take some of this equipment so that you don't have to carry as much, or you may organise that with them. When you're on your walk, remember to keep the group together as much as possible. This may not always be practical, as you may have some people that walk very fast, and you may have some people that walk very slow. If that's the case, try to buddy up walkers of different levels so that there is always a couple of people walking together and there is someone that knows the path with another person at all time. It's also important to pick your pace, and your pace should be a pace that challenges you just a little but hasn't got you completely breathless. A good rule of thumb is that you should be able to hold a conversation. However, you may notice that your breathing is a touch more heavy. Encourage walkers to do the same. If they look as though they are struggling to keep up with everybody, once again, see if you can't buddy them up with someone so that they are walking at a pace that is comfortable and safe for them. Keep away from hazards on your walk. If you do notice anything dangerous, please direct your walkers around or away from it, or use an alternative route where possible. And what you may like to do is you may like to take a photo to send through to your council or the owner of their land so that they are aware of it. On your walk, don't forget to take some photos. Photos are a great way to promote your walking group to others if you do share them on social media. It's lovely to be able to use them if you get together at the end of the year as well and share with other members of the group. And we love to receive photos from our Heart Foundation walking members here at the Heart Foundation. It helps connect us with what we do, and we can use those photos and share them in our emails and our newsletters so that other groups can also see your group's success. After your walk, there are a couple of items that you may like to consider. Shouldn't take very long. First one is that you will need to log your attendance for the group at some point. This can either be done by paper, and remember that the easiest way to do it is online. Before you leave your group, remember to confirm the details of your next walk so that everybody knows when they're meeting again. The good news is that that's pretty much all it takes, and then it's time for coffee. We didn't mention it. However, you may like to plan your route so that you finish somewhere where people can gather. If it's not for a coffee, it may just be to sit, have a rest, and drink some water. But this is an important part of the walking groups, as it gives our walkers a chance to connect with each other and feel more like a group. There is a little reminder there as well. We hope that you'll never need to report an incident, but sometimes they are unavoidable. If there are any incidents or injuries, please report them as soon as possible and within 24 hours if practical. To report an incident, all you need to do is phone the Heart Foundation helpline on 13 11 12, and they will go through the process with you over the phone. We have mentioned the Heart Foundation Walking app already, and just a reminder that this can be a great tool to track your activity over the space of the day and can be used in conjunction with walking groups so that you can get a total picture of your activity. The Heart Foundation Walking app records your steps, it connects you to Heart Foundation health messaging, and it also unlocks in-app rewards and connects you to other campaigns also. To access the Heart Foundation Walking app, you can download it from your Apple App Store or Google Play on your smartphone. That's now the end of the Walk Organiser section. If you do have any further queries about starting your Heart Foundation walking group, please feel free to contact the Heart Foundation helpline on 13 11 12 and they will be able to direct you to a member of the Heart Foundation walking team. This next section is for local coordinators. So the key component of a local coordinator's role is to help recruit new walk organisers and walkers. We also ask that local coordinators assist walk organisers to complete the induction so that they feel safe and comfortable starting their walking group. Local coordinators are also asked to promote Heart Foundation walking within the local region to organisations and through different networks. And it's very important that local coordinators are the contact point for the program in the area. To recruit walk organisers and walkers, here are some of our tips for local coordinators. We've already mentioned that word of mouth can be really powerful for the groups and it can be very effective for walk organisers as well. As a group grows, more and more people learn about it and more people tend to want to get involved. However, if you are looking to build walking in your region, you may also consider a Heart Foundation walking information session. You can discuss the benefits of walking and also how to get involved with the program. You could plan some trial walks in a central location or suburb. And as people get interested, you could ask if they wish to volunteer as a walk organiser. You could invite participants from other health promotion programs. And as mentioned, you may like to promote Heart Foundation walking at community group meetings and also networking events. Once you have recruited walk organisers and walkers, it's important that you do support those walking groups. To support those groups, you may like to join the group on the occasional walk. You may contact walk organisers regularly by phone. You might plan an event during Heart Week as a way to keep walking groups interested. You could host a thank you event during National Volunteer Week. You may also like to celebrate group anniversaries, and you might have an end of year get together either for individual groups or invite all the groups together in the region. They are some of our primary tips for succeeding as a local coordinator. If you have any further specific questions, here are the methods to get in contact with us. What's not listed there is you can also contact Heart Foundation helpline on 13 11 12 during business hours. We hope that you have enjoyed this session.